Heroes of the Environment, Chapter 2, Discovering a New Way to Clean Polluted Water. Technology helped create our problems, and technology can help solve them. Khalidra Welker, student chemist, environmental scientist, and inventor, Parkersburg, West Virginia. Khalidra Welker has always loved the Ohio River, which flows by her hometown, Parkersburg, West Virginia. As a matter of fact, she is named after the American snapping turtle that lives in the river, Khalidra serpentina. That's my real first name that my parents gave me, she says. They changed the spelling from Khalidra to Khalidra. I'm a water turtle, and you have to take care of your namesake, right? I'm also an Aquarius, which is a water sign, and I've always cared about water quality. That's my work. With a father who is a chemist and a mother who is a biologist, it seemed natural to Khalidra to learn how the world worked by doing science experiments. She was in kindergarten when she performed her first one, an attempt to see if she could grow algae in the dark. She couldn't. That's how I learned about photosynthesis, she says. You need light to grow things. At the age of 6, Khalidra joined the Ohio River Cleanup Campaign and came to realize how polluted the river was. In middle school, inspired by two famous women environmental scientists, Rachel Carson and Theo Coburn, she set up her own lab in a trailer behind her house. She began studying the effects of chemicals in the river water on the breeding habits of mosquitoes. Khalidra was 15 when news broke out about a chemical in her town's water supply that might cause cancer. The chemical, called C8, was a byproduct of Teflon, the material used to coat frying pans so food won't stick to a pan's surface. People were angry and scared. Some of them blamed the chemical company upstream from their town on the Ohio River. The company admitted that yes, they had been releasing C8 into the river, and it was possible that tiny amounts had ended up in the water supply. However, they said, the quantities were so small that there was absolutely no danger. Khalidra watched the debates about the problem on television and wondered what she could do to help. Like any good scientist, she started by researching the problem. What exactly was C8 anyway? She found out that C8, also known as APFO, ammonium perfluorotonate, is a chemical with a chain of 8 carbon atoms, which is why it's called C8. APFO is used not only in the production of Teflon, but also in the manufacture of water and stain-resistant clothing, firefighting foams, pesticides, and other products. It can also form from substances used to make grease-resistant fast food packaging, candy wrappers, and pizza box liners. This chemical has shown up not only in drinking water, but also in the bodies of people and animals. Then she learned something that really shocked her. The substance had been polluting her river for 50 years. And it wasn't just a local problem. Companies all over the country had been dumping the chemical in their local rivers. Everybody has this in their blood, says Khalidra. The average American has 5 parts per billion in their blood. Someone like me who lives near the factory can have up to 60 times that amount. How much of this chemical was in the Parkersburg water supply? Nobody knew. In fact, nobody even knew of an inexpensive, reliable test that could measure the amount of APFO in water. So Khalidra decided to invent one. She wanted to create a test that was simple and didn't cost much, so that anyone in her town could analyze water coming out of their home tap. But how? Khalidra learned that when you shake water contaminated with high amounts of APFO, the water gets foamy, and a layer of foam will rise to the top when the water settles. The more APFO in the water, the more foam there will be. The contaminated water didn't have enough APFO to make it foam, so Khalidra boiled her water sample to reduce the amount of water through evaporation and increased the concentration of APFO. Khalidra then shook the container and measured the height of the foam on the water surface. With this information, she can calculate the level of contamination of the original river water sample. Now Khalidra had a reliable way to find out how much APFO was in the water. But she wanted to do more than just that. She didn't just want to measure the problem, she wanted to solve it. So she started working on a way to remove APFO from the water. She finally succeeded by using a device called an electrolytic cell, consisting of a dry cell battery, like the kind of battery used in battery-powered toys, just bigger, and 2 electrodes, rods that conduct electricity. Khalidra submerged the electrodes in a flask of contaminated water. Then, in a process called electrosorption, one of the electrodes became an electrically charged wand that attracted the APFO in the water. Khalidra could then remove the rod, rinse it off, and put it back in the water to draw out more of the chemical. Khalidra then added another ingredient to the flask, activated carbon. Made from charcoal, activated carbon looks like grains of black sand and is used in water filters. The carbon filtered out even more of the APFO. Khalidra repeated the electrosorption and carbon filtering process until the water was completely free of APFO and safe to drink. And where did Khalidra get the high-quality electrodes she needed for the system? They were her dad's windshield wipers, minus the rubber blades. They happened to be the perfect wand-like shape for the job. He wasn't terribly happy with me, she says. I had to pay for new windshield wipers for his car. Using her new techniques, Khalidra developed a system that people could use to treat their own household drinking water, and she got a patent for it. The patent registration cost her $1,020.80. How did she pay for it? I have always picked up cans along the backcountry roads and taken them to recycling. It took more than 50,000 cans to get that kind of money. The system is being used by people in her community, and she hopes that someday it will be used more widely. After finishing high school, Khalidra went to college, where she is studying chemistry. I hope to expand my horizons. I'm looking at a chemical called magnesium dioxide, found in water systems. For some reason, it's building up in our area, and it may cause health problems. Technology helped create our problems, she says, and technology can help solve them. I want to be part of that effort.